The results, I have to say, they ain't looking too good, Chief. The performances, on the other hand, let's talk about it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel today for another episode of the Blue Review for our game against Real Madrid in pre-season. And I have to say off the bat, this is it's a different game. I'm going to say off the bat here, I have made a change to the format of how I'm doing these Blue Review videos. Last time, obviously, I did a scale on which I would place the players where they would be the closer to the good side or closer to the bad side. I have now changed that to more of a tier list format where there will still be the red, blue and yellow cards given out, but it will now be in the form of a tier list instead of a scale. Don't believe there's anything else left to cover, so without further ado, let's begin the review. I'll start with my first player, and I'm going to move from the bad to the good. So we start with my first player that is getting a red card, and that is Benoit Badiashile. Badiashile did not have the best game. I believe he was responsible for both of those goals, really. For the first one, not being more tight to the attacking player to be able to shut down the pass and the forward player. And the second one, for just the blatant laziness, to be honest. For when the player, I believe it was Brahim Diaz, goes one-on-one with Jorgensen and gets it around them, instead of hauling it to get in front of the goal to stop any potential shot making it past Jorgensen, Badiashile just slows down. And why would you slow down when you could possibly need to make a goal line clearance? Which he needed to make a goal line clearance, by the way, but slowed down so he wasn't there to do so. Why? Why would you do that? Now, I will say this, Badiashile did get better, I believe, as the game got along, specifically towards the end when he was shutting down a lot of the attacks. They were going down our left side, their right. He did get better, but those two goals are just inexcusable and too high class for me to put him anywhere else but in the bad section with a red card. I don't know what's happened to Badiashile, man. When we signed this guy, he was fire and he was absolutely brilliant. Since he had that injury at the end of that season and he's come back, he's been woeful most times. He had some good performances last season, the Brighton game, and then towards the end of Poch's reign he was decent, but he's a shell of the player he was, and I don't know what's happened with him. It's weird. Next player that is getting a red card, Raheem Sterling. Once again, Raz's decision making, as it usually is to be fair, was woeful. It was not a good performance from Raz. Raz was always good at the taking on his marker part. He's always good at running down the wing and getting into the box, but his decision making lets him down every time. By the time he's made the decision to run to the wing, half the defense is there to stop him. By the time he's decided to cut inside, half the defense is there to stop him, because he can't make up a goddamn mind, and he can't do it quick enough, and when he does make it up, usually it's the wrong decision. I am begging for Nico Jackson to come back as soon as possible, because he needs to be playing that left side right now. Or, for the love of God, play Tyreek George. We need Jackson to come back and get a goddamn striker to play the middle. Or play Tyreek George. I don't care which at this point. Just, we cannot play with Sterling playing down that left wing. Moving on to the third and final player that is getting a red card is Malo Gusto. Gusto does not suit being an inverted fullback, and it irritates me to no end. He's not an inverted fullback, and better yet, he's not a left back. He should not be playing as a left back. I understand. Okay, no, actually, no. I was about to say I understand why he's playing as a left back. No, I don't. Because if we're playing fullbacks that are going to get high on the pitch and try and attack, why the hell is Ben Chilwell not on the pitch? That's Ben Chilwell's bread and butter. Why is he not on the pitch? And if we're going to play a left back that's going to invert, why the hell is Renato Vega not on the pitch? Vega is literally a CDM by trade that can play left back. Why is he not on the pitch? Why is Vega not getting a minute? He's played like one game, which was the bloody Celtic game, and I don't think he's played another game since. Why? He's a 6'3" CDM who can play left back. That is literally the definition of an inverted fullback. Why is he not playing? I appreciate that we're inverting the left-sided fullback because we're going to do that when Cucurella comes back, but Gusto should not be the one trialing this. It should be Renato Vega, because Renato Vega is a left-back CDM hybrid who knows how to do this. Gusto's attacking output while he's been inverting has been good. We saw in the Club America game when he was helping build up the play and it was just everything was going through him. He was the fulcrum, if you like. Everything was going through him. That's his attacking output. His defensive output as an inverted fullback is not there. That's what Cucurella is for. That's what Renato Vega's for. That's why you need to play one of them as your inverted left back. You can't play Gusto there because it doesn't work. You can't play down the left wing because he hasn't got a left foot, not a good enough one to be able to cross the ball. He's always having to cut back on his right foot and put the ball in, and by then the chance is either gone or the ball isn't right. You can't play your right back, at left back. It doesn't work. Moving on to our first yellow card of the game, I'm giving it to Mikhailo Mudryk. I can understand why people would say he'd had a bad game. He didn't have the best game, but it's very similar to Sterling, just slightly more annoying. Mudryk did pretty much everything right until it comes to take the shot, and that's always the problem with him. He does everything right. Like we saw that ball he intercepted, he ran all the way up the pitch with it, he tried to cut inside and score, and he hits it over the bar. Like miles over the bar as well. Mudryk's biggest problem has always been his end product. It's always been the case that it's his end product. Now, one thing I will say, he does always seem to be a lot better when Nicholas Jackson's around. I don't know what it is, but Mudryk just seems to be a lot better whenever Nicholas Jackson's around. So maybe that's the thing to be looking at. But at the minute, Mudryk is not on it. Now, I'll say that he did pretty much everything right up until it came to the final ball. He was doing more than Sterling was, for sure. That's for damn sure. Misha is just one of the most frustrating players. His ability to take on players is solid enough to get away with most things. His ball striking ability on the ground is great, and we see in training, irritatingly, he takes shots from all over the place, off and on the ground, and they all end up in the net. But he can't do it in the fucking match, and I don't get it. It's weird. I do not understand why it doesn't work for him. Like, is it just the pressure that suddenly gets to him? I don't understand it. It's so weird and so annoying. The second and final yellow card of this game is going to Philip Jorgensen. Full disclosure, Jorgensen will probably be getting a blue card. Second one, though, he should be saving that. He should be throwing himself at that ball to stop Brahim Diaz getting a foot on it. So, yeah, he should be saving that. But other than that, I think he had a decent game. Other than those two goals, he didn't really have a difficult shot to save. Most of them were pretty routine. But the reason he does land himself in with a yellow card instead of a red card is his distribution was pretty bloody good. His decision making with the ball is really good. He is very clearly a goalkeeper that knows how to play with his feet. So we'll have to see. But his ability to play out from the back with his ball playing is pretty good. His decision making is good. It's 1,000 times better than Sanchez. And his balls up the pitch are actually quite decent. Personally, I believe Jorgensen should be the number one. I don't believe it should be Sanchez. I believe it should be Jorgensen. I don't trust Sanchez's decision making and his distribution. Every time he gets the ball to his feet, I will just be having flashbacks to the Arsenal game when he punted that ball out straight to Declan Rice and Declan Rice scores an open net. I will just always be having flashbacks to that game every time he's on the ball. With Jorgensen, you feel a bit more, you feel safer, you feel a bit more control with his ball distribution. Granted, it's been one game. The sample size is very minimal right now, but I already feel much more secure playing out from the back with Jorgensen than I do Sanchez. So at the minute, I'd be starting him as the number one. All right, moving on to the blue cards, the players who I believe did the best in this game. And the first one of those is going to Levi Colwill. Levi Colwill, for the past 2 games, has been getting slated on social media, and I don't understand it. The Man City game, nobody particularly played well in the defence. Levi, I think, probably was the best of the 4, to be honest, but nobody played well. This game, I thought he played well. I thought he had a decent game. He was let down by Badiashile a lot, but I don't think Levi had a bad game. Playing at that centre back, which I think in this back 3 system he's a lot more comfortable with, he was able to get in some decent challenges. Obviously, it was the one on, I believe, Vinicius Jr. when he was running back and he tackled him on the goal line, on the byline, I should say. So he had some decent moments, Colwill. He had some good challenges in there as well. But yeah, I thought it was a decent game. Colwill, in my opinion, is our best centre-back right now. Colwill needs to be starting games. Maresca, apparently agrees with me, because apart from that one game where he was rested due to load management, he started every game. So clearly Maresca agrees with me on this. Colwill is our best centre-back. He needs to be starting every game. He also needs to be playing with the right partner as well. That whoever that is remains to be seen so far. He's not had the proper opportunity to play with Tosin yet. He's played with Badiashile, and Badiashile, they've not looked bad together, but Badiashile's been meh. We haven't seen Dizazi in a while. That partnership actually looked decent under Pochettino, to be fair. Obviously, we remember the Man City game at the Etihad, but Dizazi had an absolute masterclass, and Colwill played pretty well that game as well. It could be Wes. We've never seen the Colwill-Wes partnership. That could be a really good partnership. So, yeah, we'll wait to see what his best partner is, but at the minute, he's doing all right, Levi. The second blue card of this game is going to Enzo Fernandez. Now, this was a much, much better game for Enzo Fernandez than the last two. He looked much sharper. His off-the-ball work was really impactful. Like, we saw the amount of times he was up the pitch and he was dragging centre-backs away for runs in behind. Obviously, he got the assist for a goal off Madueke. Brilliant ball into the back post, to be fair. And it was just, he looked sharp, Enzo. He did look like he's been working to get fit after his time away from winning the Copa America, obviously. So he looked much better, Enzo. Obviously, he ended the game as the captain as well, as we know. It does look like he is going to be the vice captain going into the season, because apart from, I think, like the first 2-3 games, we've not seen anything out of Chilwell. Connor's obviously off to Atletico, so Enzo's next in line to be vice captain. But yeah, I think this was a vastly improved performance from Enzo. Maresca has just been bigging up this entire preseason of how he has got big plans for Enzo, and I hope we get to see them, because Enzo is genuinely a brilliant player, and if we can get the best out of him, this could be a very brilliant season for us, because I believe Enzo is a key pivotal member of that team, and we need to be getting the best out of him. We saw in the first game of last season what Enzo was capable of when he ran that midfield versus Liverpool. He just ran that midfield. He needs to be doing the same kind of things for Maresca. Now, he kind of did that in this game. You could see where it was. You could see the elements of it. So he needs to be doing that. He needs to be doing this kind of stuff. So we need him to do it again come the first game of the season. And moving into my final blue card of the game, and who I believe is man of the match for this game, and that is Noni Madueke. Obviously, he was the one that got the goal that got us back into the match a little bit. He was the most dangerous player on the pitch throughout that entire game. Guiu wasn't looking to provide anything and was just taking needless pot shots, and Kunku couldn't really get onto the game. Obviously, I've already spoke about Sterling. Mudryk wasn't really offering much threat when he came on. So Madueke was the biggest threat throughout that entire game. He was doing what he should be doing, which is trying to beat his man. He was just very unfortunate that he's up against an incredibly quick fullback. Fran Garcia is an incredibly quick player, so Madueke's acceleration doesn't help him as much as it normally would against other players, because 9 times out of 10, Madueke is faster than any fullback he faces. This was just one of the 1 in 10 that he wasn't, because Fran Garcia is incredibly quick. But normally Madueke has this fullback on toast, so this was just very unlucky. But even then, he was still having very good moments in this game. Obviously, as I mentioned, he got the goal with the header at the back post. Very intelligent move for him. Like, you go back post when the ball is played there, front post, back post kind of thing. He was the most dangerous player on the pitch. He was getting in the right areas. Was it his best game? No. But I think it was a pretty solid game from Madueke. He is going to get very unlucky in this system, because unfortunately his competition for that right wing spot is Cole Palmer. And everybody knows that pretty much any team in the world, Cole Palmer starts. Like, I don't care if you're Arsenal or you're Liverpool or you're even probably Real Madrid, you can make a very strong case that Cole Palmer starts. And any other team other than those, he starts. I don't care who you are, he starts. So Madueke is going to be very unfortunate in that regard. He will get some good minutes in there, here and there, because obviously we're not going to make Palmer play as well. Okay, we'll make Palmer play as many minutes as we possibly can, but we can't. You can't be expected to play all minutes. So Madueke will eventually come on for a couple of games, and he'll probably get a couple of goals. Madueke looks really good whenever he comes off the bench, and I'm assuming that's just to do with the fact that he's quick as hell, so he's just able to inject some pace into the game. We saw it towards when he started getting in the team towards like December time when he was coming off the bench. He looked really good off the bench because his dribbling ability is incredible and he's quick as hell. So he's just able to inject a lot of energy into the attack, and he does that really well. So if he is coming off the bench to replace Palmer or somebody else, he will do that job very well. So for my money, Madueke, man of the match. I would love to hear what your man of the match is, so let me know in the comments below. There are worse ways to lose than 2-1 to Real Madrid. We've lost to Real Madrid by more with better teams. Now, I know it's only pre-season, and I know they are missing quite a few key members of their squad, especially around the midfield. Obviously, the likes of Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Camavinga. Don't believe Valverde's back yet. I could be wrong. Obviously, now Toni Kroos is retired. Kylian Mbappe is not back yet. But even then, like, their team was really strong. Like, you still had a front line of Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Brahim Diaz. You still had Luka Modric in midfield. You still had a backline of Tony Rudiger and Eder Militao. You still had Courtois in goal. Like, that's not a weak Madrid side. That's a really good Madrid side. It's not the worst performance. If anything, I actually think this is probably the best we've played all preseason. The result won't reflect that, which is fair. But I do believe this is probably the closest we've come to seeing the ideas that Maresca are implementing. Now, it does still need work, specifically in the defense, and we need to be much more careful playing this high line, which is possibly why I'm now starting to understand why he was playing Wes as the centre-back, because Wes is by far our quickest centre-back, or I think. I don't know if he still is now. But Wes is by far our quickest centre-back. If he's playing in the centre, then he can catch pretty much most things that go in behind him. So there is that. Like, very similar to the high line that Spurs play, and how Mickey van der Ven gets them out of trouble with that, because he's quick as hell. So we need a very quick player like that, and Wes is the quickest we have, I believe. So we need someone like that that's going to get us out of trouble. But yeah, I mean, disappointing result, not necessarily the most disappointing performance. So I feel pretty good about this game overall. As I say, like, it's not fun losing, but I believe the performance is starting to show the signs of what Maresca is trying to do. Obviously, now we go on to play our final preseason game. Enzo's first out the bridge versus Inter Milan, so obviously the boys will be heading back to the kingdom from the States. And the most important thing about this, we've managed to escape the US without any injuries. That's the best thing. We didn't do that last year. We didn't get away from the US without injuries. We've done that this year. We've managed to get away. We go into the season with a fully fit squad. We keep these guys fit, we can genuinely have a very good season. Like, we keep the likes of James, Lavia, Nkunku, Levi, Wes. We keep these guys fit, like, we are going to be fine. So we just need to make sure that they don't get injured. Maresca clearly is very adept at managing minutes, which is fair enough. Obviously, we've seen that in preseason already with likes of Badiashile and Colwell being rotated out for load management. So clearly that's something high in his agenda. Hopefully the likes of Jackson comes back soon, because we could really do with him, because he is the best striker at the club right now, and he's probably the best left winger at the club right now, so we could do with him back soon. Anywho, I will end this episode of the Blue Review there. With that being said, I'm going to sign off there. I am the Crimson Wolf, the reddest Chelsea fan on the internet. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all for the next game in the next video, and I hope to see you all at Stamford Bridge. I'm going to be there for the Inter Milan game, so I hope to see you all there. But until next time, I have been the Crimson Wolf, as I already said, so see you next time. Good luck with it.